This is AV Super Friends Perspectives, a collection of interviews, discussions, and presentations from conferences, trade shows, and events that just don't fit either of the other two shows. Some are long, some are short, but they'll all have valuable insights, useful information, or just good conversation with thought leaders and subject matter experts. And now, the AV Super Friends. For June 15th, 2023. No, June 16th. Ah, crap.
We have no idea.
June 16th, 2023.
After a few days of InfoComm, we are toast.
For someday in June.
That's what happens after Thursday.
The AV Super Friends Perspectives thingy for day 3 of InfoComm 2023. By popular demand, I am Chris with no last name. Joined this morning again by Rachel, Justin, Jamie, Larry, Mark, and special guest who we just roped in because Justin was trolling him on Twitter.
Right?
Yeah. That's right. Frank Padikkala. Frank.
Hey, how's it going? It's great to be a part of this wacky bunch of people. What am I doing here?
I have no idea.
What am I doing
Pure
here?
madness.
But you came over here.
I saw the most random tweet where it looked like I was in jail.
Yeah.
I thought, what is happening here?
So your Thursday night went well.
And your reaction to that was to engage with that person. Which
See,
I think
you
is
know,
very
it's like-
bold. Well done.
I know, right?
He said, "Where are you?"
There's no fear. Just
Just go with it.
You know, a normal person might have just blocked us, but you came on the pod. Well
Hey,
done.
it's all love on the InfoComm
Frank,
floor, so
Frank.
I'm good.
That's right.
Not smart. Frank. Not smart.
Justin knows these things.
There's stories.
Thank you so much.
Oh, coffee.
Oh, we
I
got a
got
coffee
mine.
break. Hold on, time out. Coffee break.
So much.
We're all right.
So we've successfully
She's
made
my
it to
favorite person on the whole floor.
Oh yeah.
Jamie is arranging for coffee just for himself.
You know Rachel's sitting right next to you.
I'm not on the floor. I'm
If Rachel
3
brings
feet
me
above
a
the floor.
cup of hot
Oh.
coffee at 7 in the
you're
morning,
off
I'm
the floor.
good.
You are
Well,
off
Jamie's
the floor right
8:15.
now.
So.
I'm levitating.
Close enough.
We've made it to day 3. Day 3 is about to start, so we still have 45 minutes until day 3 actually starts. But
We could hang it up. We could leave right now and get out of
If
here.
we leave now, we can beat traffic. I think that's the best plan. How has the show been for everybody? I know we've all been presenting. Frank, you did a couple of presentations.
Yeah, it's been great. It's
Why don't we
fantastic.
start with you? So,
Yeah.
He's the guest.
I
Bring him
am the
in.
guest, so I guess I'll start.
oh wow.
Wow.
How has the show been for you so far? How did your presentations go?
It's been amazing, the opportunity to interact with so many people, getting on stage, talking about the things that I'm passionate about. It's been wonderful. I had this session called Emerging Trends, talking about IT. I had this moderator, the most amazing moderator I've ever had.
Ooh, who was that?
Rachel, you were fantastic. I have never walked into a panel discussion less prepared but more confident. It's like
Well, I want to thank Frank for being on that panel with me because that was, I will say in all honesty, my favorite session I've ever moderated at InfoComm because I feel like I had a really
man.
easy job.
geez. Oh my goodness.
That hurts.
I've never moderated a session with you guys.
technically true.
Yeah.
Technically true.
I think every time you meet with us, you're moderating us in a way.
I feel like every time I'm on the pod with you guys, I'm here like cracking jokes, spoiling the podcast, and generally ruining things.
I
and
thought that
causing
was
chaos.
So this is the
That's-
unprepared version.
Is that not moderation?
I feel like we saw you moderate things earlier in the week, and I was like, man, she really comes and steps down to do our podcast. She looks way more
Yeah,
professional
like,
up there.
it's like
shit,
that's the great.
How did we pull this off? Like
Smart people are like that. They know how to get down to a certain level.
our
It's-
level.
That's right. I'm just meeting you guys where you are.
She puts on the waiters and goes right in.
No, but I mean, it was a really fun conversation to moderate because we had a really good group of perspectives. We had manufacturers, vendors, design engineers, end users all together talking about trends in AV/IT. Really smart people. It's very easy to moderate a session when you know that the people who are up there with you are like all you have to do is tee them up. And they're going to knock it out of the park to mix sports metaphors.
I was going to say, what kind of golf are you playing?
Guys, I don't play sports ball. Leave me alone.
Sports ball.
But did you score a touch basket?
6 points.
I am pretty sure I was offsides there. I don't know, you guys. And I think this was a tech innovation stage session, so I believe this is going to be up on Avixa TV
Yep.
here in a
Yes,
couple
it
of
is.
weeks. So if you weren't here at InfoComm, you'll be able to check it out.
couple of weeks. What are
While
they doing?
she was
I don't
distracting all of us with the radiance of educated person, what were you telling us when you were on this panel?
Well, we talked about networking. We talked about the changes in networking. How
Like
things are-
what?
Security. I
Nothing's
guess.
allowed on the network anymore. Get your
Ever.
shit off the
Yeah,
network.
No,
Yeah.
actually,
Get your
to the-
shit off the network.
Au contraire, I think everything is allowed on the network. Was the perspective we came
Not
to.
at my university.
Well,
But this is one of because we all crashed the party and we tried to distract Rachel, but she's a pro.
She was
Yeah.
focused.
But
She
no, this
wouldn't.
was one of the things we talked about, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about it a lot, and that's one of the things that's been on the floor. Like, where were we? Surgex.
Surgex, yeah.
And I go, I mean, you're putting my power outlet on the network. I'm not sure how this is going to go. What is your perspective on this?
I think it's as long as we have a process in place and the proper documentation and enough engineering that goes with these deployments, it should be successful.
So what you're saying, in a perfect world, you could have the perfect network.
Yes, yeah.
Perfect
Fair
world,
enough.
perfect people, perfect
Yeah.
documentation, perfect network.
And that's a
The
long
thing
way
is,
to get
though,
there, though.
we
too.
kind of like I think we're blowing it out of proportion, the challenges that we face on the network. We have the same set of challenges on the AV side of things, yet we just, we know how to fix it,
Right.
so we're comfortable with those
Yes.
things, right? We're good at AV, so we're like, yeah, I can fix that. The network is the same thing. It's just that we, at times, lack the skills or the SMEs needed to come to that point of fixing. So,
Well, it's because it technically belongs to somebody
And
else.
sometimes
it's a
Because
control
we have to work in
too,
partnership with
yeah.
networking,
This
who is
is true.
often uncomfortable that we're plugging in this weird stuff
Yep.
and then asking them to change rules on the switches, rules, what
Agreed.
layer we're on, what subnet, what AV, or what VLAN.
Yeah.
It's just it starts to they're like, wait, who is this? and
Why are you
they-"
talking about my stuff?
Yeah, that's
like
my
this?
stuff.
Yep.
And our
How'd you
demands.
get in here?
Yeah.
There's a bit of a you broke it, you bought it
Yeah.
effect with networks. Like,
Yeah.
if
It's
you break
true,
my
it's
network,
true.
you have to get out of here and make your
Yeah.
own.
yeah. The problem, though, is that I think a lot of times we look at the network and the whole IT conversation from a very technical perspective. I think IT and networking begin before the technical, right? There's the whole project management, documentation, the process part of the thing. So I did a session. It was a quick 30-minute session. We called it Cybersecurity 101. And in that session, I didn't
should've
get
been to
into
that one.
any technical details, right? Because you're not going to become a cybersecurity expert in 30 minutes for sure.
Damn it! That's why I was
That is
going.
not what YouTube
That's
says.
why I came here this week.
And to go to
But
Harry
I think
Potter World.
The highlight of this
Missed
thing was
both.
we talked about a security posture, right? And when you talk about a security posture, it's how ready are you? Yes, yes,
That's
exactly.
an IT term.
Yeah, it's
I
how
look like
ready.
the little guy on the Notre Dame thing.
God, Jamie.
Jamie's
Y'all are,
Jamie's funny.
y'all are
Guys.
hilarious. How am I ever gonna get through a thought? Oh my
I know.
goodness!
Jamie's
amazing.
This is our brand.
Oh my goodness! This is hilarious.
All right,
I'll
so
go-
so
I'll
back
go
back to what you're saying.
behind
For cybersecurity, step one, you need an angry leprechaun. Step two,
Step 2, you need a security posture that 3 things, right? It's basically people, process, and technology. Right? I think the technology part, here's the thing, right? I know all throughout InfoComm, I've been listening to several people talking about networking, and there's always this, you're not good enough feeling that's being perpetuated.
I
Yeah.
think that's fair.
That's
Yeah.
not true, though. I disagree with that. I think AV people are doing a lot of things that are right. It's just that we haven't given it the IT terminology, right? We change our passwords. Do you have a document that has
Admin
that?
one.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wait.
well, no.
A document.
That's
Yeah,
the problem.
Jamie, that's where you
What's
had a
that?
one.
See,
to
that's
admin,
the
we're
problem.
good.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. We do the right things. We don't document it. We don't name that process. We don't repeat the process. So we think that we're not good enough on the security networking side of things. I think we're doing a lot of things right. It's just about making sure those processes are repeatable.
Yeah.
Once it's repeatable, we're good to go. So that was the whole point of the security posture thing. So once we get the process right, the people part of it is also severely lacking, right?
You got to have buy-in.
You got to have buy-in, and the important thing is, so I did this research during my cybersecurity 101 thing, and was trying to understand like how much people invest, companies invest into people, and based on what I saw, organizations that are large are okay with investing 10 to 15 times more into technology as they are into people.
Oh.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. So we are good with replacing a $100,000 server that's not
Yeah.
secure,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
that $300 certification voucher is I don't have the budget to do that. Maybe you can do that next
We'll do it next
Well,
year.
if I send you to that training, then I got to send Billy too to somewhere else. And that's not
Exactly.
fair. And
Yeah.
a lot of
there's
companies
a-
they don't like
Well-
to certify you if you can take it with you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
they
that's
lose
the thing.
it,
Like,
right?
there's no chance that if you upgrade your $100,000 server, some other company is going to then take that
Exactly.
server.
Oh,
They
but
might.
there's a chance.
That's true.
Good. It depends what you're doing with that server.
But Rachel, you're right.
Good
That
point.
is much
I
more
yield.
rare that they come in and take your stuff.
We're going to take this right
But that's the
off your
thing, though.
hands.
Unless we invest into the people and stop this fear of retaining them, people are people. If your work environment is built on, that fear that if he gets a certification, if they get a certification, they're going to be out of here. There's something wrong before that certification that caused them to think that.
There's
right?
a standard operating procedure
Right.
problem.
Yeah,
It's
there
a
is a
culture
problem there.
shift,
There's
yeah.
a culture problem there. So invest into your people. Invest integrators, end users, corporations. Invest into your AV people so that they can get trained up. We don't need them to be security experts or networking experts. We just need them to be educated enough to have the right conversations and bring in the right people. So
Yeah.
that's where we're lacking. So
Well, I really like the order that you put that in. Like, I think you said like people, process, technology.
Correct.
Right, and I think that's the right hierarchy too when it comes to
Yep.
thinking about security, because I mean we all know, and like I have a blockchain client. They're blockchain security clients, so they're not evil
That's not Mark.
specifically.
I love that.
But like from working with them, I've learned that the whole point of blockchain is supposed to be secure. It's $1 billion scam industry, and all of the
Jeez.
scams are social engineering.
Yes, they
The
are.
blockchain, the technology is secure. It's
But
the
the-
people and the processes that are jacked.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
That-
Exactly.
That actually makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I actually had a session that unfortunately got canceled because my co-presenter was out of Philly and they had the whole situation there. But we did have a session for social engineering that was
Oh,
planned.
Did Philly?
bridge
Is
fell
Philly
down.
still there?
I wanted to go to that session. That
Yeah.
got
What happened to
canceled?
Philly?
It got canceled, yeah. It got canceled. She couldn't make it.
95 fell down.
Right.
didn't know.
Yep. That
Oh,
bridge.
the bridge.
Yeah.
The bridge
The bridge.
collapsed.
Yeah.
Wow,
Under the bridge.
okay,
It was a
okay,
mess
okay.
there. I mean,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
okay.
thing was backed up for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole point of that social engineering is security is not really just technical. It's also human.
Yeah.
And in fact, the human component is probably more significant, and that's where we have no interest. And people think, I feel like Hollywood perpetuates this vision of what security and cybersecurity is. It's some dude in a hoodie in the basement with like 16 monitors in front of them, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
breaking
like
into
a
the
hacker,
yeah, they're
very
hacking.
intensely type
That is
fast.
rarely how a hack happens.
Well, that's how I do it.
No, it's like spear
And
phishing.
you're not
I mean,
supposed to say it out loud. Then It's
I
like,
go to the train station.
is this thing being broadcast? Because
Yeah.
we have a hacker among
This
us.
is going straight live to YouTube. We got cameras on you right now, too.
I do
far
not
as you
know
know.
these people. I did not.
The Alvin art needs to be one of those.
To
You've
be
been
clear,
hacked.
we scammed Frank into being here this morning.
This is true. I was
He's been
social.
had.
I was
Social
social
engineered.
engineered.
You've been
We set you
engineered.
up, dude.
Oh, that's
for
funny.
it.
That's
Snagged
funny.
in a spear phishing scam.
The funny thing is, yesterday after my session on cybersecurity, one of the attendees walked up to me with a flash drive and said, "Hey, could you put this on my flash drive?" And you know what? Look, so I have pretty good security on my laptop. I wasn't concerned, and I said, "Sure, I'll do it for you, right?"
And it immediately popped up, you owe me $1 million.
No. The funny thing is, as I give it to him, he said, "Well, I just socially engineered you," and I said, "Good job, you were paying
Yeah.
attention." And I thought, I pray to God there was nothing on that USB.
Like anonymous video pops up
Right.
away as soon as you stick it in. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, security is made out to be more complicated than it really is. It's just that we have to start somewhere. The funny thing is, we did this for all the other trades that we associate with. We did it with architects, we did it with HVAC people, we did it with the mechanical engineers. We've been doing this successfully with several trades. AV is not really just a trade. It's a juxtaposition of so many different things. Like,
Yeah.
and when it comes to networking and security, there's this mindset, that's not my job. It is your job.
Yeah.
If
Everybody's
it's your
job.
product,
Absolutely.
if it is your product, it's your job. And the thing is, people don't use their manufacturers. So I represent Audinate, right? And I need people who
We'll
are
just scratch that.
No, we're just joking.
I know. But you need to reach out to the manufacturers and put them on the spot with these questions. Hey, I have a customer who's asking for a security thing. How can you help me? And the manufacturers are supposed to give you that information because we own the product. We built the product. We should be able to. And if a manufacturer cannot give it to you, well, then,
maybe you should think about it.
Think
It's time
about
to
it.
shop around.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, right, so even in security, there's this assumption that we can, by being secure, we have permanently fixed the thing. There's no such thing. Security is like a scale, right? And security practitioners are okay with you telling them that this is all it does. This is all it can be secured. They're fine with that. It's their job at that point to build their network around it if that product is needed. So you'll get two responses. If you tell them that this product can be secured, they'll be like, all right, I can't do anything, change the product, or yes, I can build a specific part of the network or segregate it in some way that you can use it. But we don't give them that information. We're like stuck. And don't send 60-page white papers to IT departments. They're not going to read it. They're terrible at that.
Yeah.
Don't send 60-page white papers. For the love of God, don't send your your one-line drawings.
They don't know how to read.
They don't know how to
either.
read that,
No.
right? You need to make it colorful. Put it in a PowerPoint. This is what it does.
Pie charts.
I'm not.
Dashboards.
That sounded very condescending. But the thing is, I represent
true,
the network
though.
part of it. It is.
Yeah, because I've done the same
This is not a
thing.
knock on IT people.
No.
This is people generally. Like, if you want them to do something, you need to send them clear, concise information
I mean,
about
I don't
what they
think
want
I've
them
ever
to do.
read
colorful
anything that's
PowerPoint.
60
In a
pages.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Like I've never.
Is there
Yeah.
there
There's
like
things
a,
called books. Yeah, I don't read that.
You
Yeah.
read a book.
That's more than 60 pages. 59. 60 is too much. I draw the line.
60 is where you draw
Like
the
you
line.
never made it all the way through The Giver. You just
These like exclusively
wear
choose
the
your own
red
adventure
fur
books.
for the longest book.
Yeah,
He read the abridged.
59.
He read the highly
Stop.
abridged version.
these Reader's
I have
Digest?
so many
Give me the
unfinished
Cliff
books.
Notes. The Cliff Notes version.
Let's go to Cliff Notes. So is it something where, how do we get a trend or how do we get manufacturers to give us the half sheet? How do we give them and say, hey, look, I just need 2 paragraphs of the most important things that my security guy will need or my network guy will need. I don't need 70 pages. I just need a half sheet.
They should be able to give it to you.
Well,
It's like
let me ask an ignorant question
Sure.
because that's really my role on this podcast. Does every security department need the same half sheet? Like, would it be possible for all of the manufacturers on the floor to create that half sheet and have it to hand out as a glossy here at the show? Or is it kind of bespoke depending on your network architecture, your security policies, your security posture? Do you as the integrator or as the system engineer have to design the half sheet yourself and go to the manufacturer
Not really.
and get the information to fill it out?
Most of the information is pretty much repeatable, so they could give you that information. But the thing is, when they try to expand on it, that's when it turns into those 70-page documents, right? So the point is, each request would need some level of kind of streamlining it. But the problem is, here's the challenge. A lot of times, even on the other end of it, you're not reaching the right people. If you were to get to the actual security professional at a manufacturer or the person who has the right information, they would be able to tell you, yeah, you just need this small paragraph. That's what your security team is looking for.
I mean, is there a point where we're going to get like an icon that's like, these things have this. They are mature level 1, 2, 3. Like, they meet all this back-end shit. So we don't need the 60-page thing.
It should.
When you walk around, everybody has their badge of security clearance 1-2.
Well,
where are we at on this?
That's where I
so
am.
what you're saying is we need is another
We
standards
need another standard. Yeah,
organization.
exactly.
We need a
Great,
grading
perfect.
scale. Yeah.
But I mean,
Somebody-
everybody's on a spectrum, and they're on their Gartner curve journey. Like, this is good for this piece of it. So it's like,
a lot of information is repeatable. The thing is, there's this lack of skill at several levels that's causing this, right? If this document were to get into the hands of a security professional, they would be able to kind of streamline. It doesn't matter what part of the process they are, but a lot of times it's like 4 ignorant people asking each other the question, right? So is the answer?
I've been in that meeting.
You've met our show. This is
here.
friend
Yeah,
show.
we're here.
I'm not talking about us. Oh my God!
Why did you look at us and gesture?
I was like,
These 4 ignorant people in front of me.
Hey, you're calling us ignorant. There are 6 of us. So.
you can't even add.
Look, I use a lot of hand gestures. Not everything is intentional.
Very directive.
Oh my goodness!
No, I think that's all really good stuff. You did have another session.
I did. So I am fortunate to be the chair of the Avixa Diversity Council. We put in a lot of work to make sure that diversity as a conversation keeps going. And we had Terrence Cooey, who is, so interesting enough, he's the Chief People Officer and the Chief Information Security Officer for the U.S. Air Force.
Chief People Officer?
Yes. That's
HR.
HR?
HR.
Yeah. I just never heard him called that before.
Yeah.
Because you're not in the Air Force. Because you're not in HR.
Yeah.
You were in HR.
Well,
or the Air Force, apparently.
That's actually a new term. I mean, I see a lot of C-level Chief People Officers
Yes,
out there.
CPO.
So he did the keynote, and then we had a networking session. It's just been great. You know, the fact that we've built this safe space where people can come in and express themselves and talk about their concerns and talk about their challenges, and we help them grow together. Right? Diversity for me is a journey of growth.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get stuck on the term diversity, and I've said this several times over the course of the show, that if you replace diversity with learning, I think people would be more accepting of it. Because the fact of the matter is, what is diversity? It's just learning something that you don't know. It's about another race, gender, color, culture, background, food. Everything that you do that you don't already know is a part of that learning journey, and that's what makes you diverse. Diversity is achieved when I can accept you for who you are. Isn't that simple? It's quite simple, right? It's human. The concept of diversity is purely human. I just accept you for who you are. I'm good. I'm not questioning why you are. I'm just saying, I like you the way you are. I'm fine. I'm cool with that.
And you know, if it was that simple everywhere, I think this whole world would be better off.
The
problem is everybody takes their own tangents on it. And
that
it
is
goes
true.
Everywhere.
That is true.
So it's kind of crazy.
It is true,
Yeah.
right? You know, and people forget that. Why do we do these things? I think at its core, everybody wants that sense of belonging, right?
Yeah.
You want to be a part of something, right? And it's beautiful that at an industry like the AV industry, we already have this commonality. Our passion for AV already unites us. Right.
Well, when you're a nerd, you seek out other nerds.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a really beautiful way of putting it, because I think there are those in this industry who are really threatened by the idea of diversity and equity and inclusion because they think that that opportunity is a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
And when you explain diversity in those terms, it's clear that diversity includes everybody.
Exactly.
It includes the people who have been in this industry
Yep.
for 45 years,
Yep.
and it includes like the people who are joining the industry now or who are becoming newly visible in the industry and
Yep,
finding
absolutely.
community within it. It's about all of those people saying to each other, like, "Hey, you're also part of my people. I want to learn from you.
Exactly.
I want to accept you for who you are,
Yep.
and I am happy to be accepted by you."
Yep,
It is
exactly.
a two-way street of acceptance.
Exactly. It's just about having that open-mindedness. Like, you know, I'm fortunate to work at Odd Nate. It's not a massive company, but we're also very diverse. And when I started working with them, one of the first things that I started doing is, like, when we'd have team dinners, I'd started putting recommendations for food, things that I like, and I'd say,
Which is your favorite what?
So my background is I'm Indian, so I like Indian food. I like Latin food, Caribbean. I especially love Arabic food. Middle Eastern cuisine is one of my favorite. I love it. So I said, let's go there. And half of the team were like, I've never had that. And their response was, let's do it. And it's come to the point where they almost ask me, like, what do we do for dinner tonight? Because, you know, so they've culturally accepted something that they were not used to. And, you know, we've become more cohesive as a team because of it. So diversity expands a lot. You know, it makes your teams better. It makes your thought process better. It makes your workplace beautiful. There's no need to be threatened by it. And I feel that the people who are threatened by it, it's just because they've had this narrow perspective on what that is. It's not about a quota. We're still looking to get the best people in a position.
Yeah.
It's not like because we're looking for diversity, we're saying we're excluding someone. We just want to give somebody an opportunity who typically would not have had that opportunity. So when people reach out to me as the chair and say, hey, we have this job posting, we'd love to hire somebody who's diverse, my response to them is, what are you doing to make them feel that they're welcome there?
Yeah.
So if you're a woman and you have a child, you need to take care of your children. If you're pregnant, you need to take care of yourself. What kind of facilities do you have in your organization that make sure that they're taken care of? Come to the Diversity Council, explain to them how you've built an inclusive workplace, and they will apply for the job.
And I will add, because
Awesome.
I have to, I'm this obnoxious. If you're a man who has a child,
Yes, absolutely.
How are we accommodating you? And that's part of making women feel welcome too.
Absolutely. It's inclusive.
If you're a man and you're pregnant.
If you're a man and you're...
It's 2023, Jamie.
You can do it.
Get with the times.
Absolutely.
It happens.
Yep, absolutely.
You should be given a raise.
I mean, if you're a person and you're pregnant, you should be given... Yes, I agree. Wait, do I? I don't know. I need to think through the politics of that for a minute.
We make light of it.
I know.
This
I
is
understand.
generic fun, but diversity
and you know what? It can be light. You know, so that's the whole point of it.
You don't have to lose your sense of humor.
So one of our favorite events at the,
I think we need to remember that. Is sometimes we can laugh at ourselves, and sometimes we
absolutely. Diversity doesn't have to become this taboo topic that we're all walking on eggshells.
Yeah, it's not about being the thought police.
We don't need to do that. Like when I started at the council, we were thinking of ways how to do events that are inclusive. It was during the pandemic, and one of the things we did is we did an event called AV Meets Food. It's basically people from different cultures and backgrounds coming and cooking on Zoom or sharing the foods that they made and just talking about it. And you know what we found? That it doesn't matter what culture you're from, you always have that grandma who has that recipe that nobody else can change.
Yep.
You have to buy the specific thing, you have to cook it a certain way. So there is commonality, even in the diversity of things. So it's not that hard, just work at it. Just be better.
Was there a hair? Was there a hair in the biscuit?
Oh my God!
No, that's just Justin's grandma.
Diverse view of the world.
Part of our diversity here on the AV Super Friends is we have strong Appalachian representation.
Okay,
like half of the group.
Yeah, 50% Appalachian. And Justin brought us the excellent turn phrase that went over about as well as a hair and a biscuit.
That was a good one.
Is one of the best things I've ever heard.
There'll be stickers with that on it.
Yeah, Frank, thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
I mean, you got here early, and when we
Social
basically
engineer.
wrestled you in here, and I can't arm wrestle anybody. So what's that say about you, buddy? But no, we really appreciate it. I mean, a lot of good stuff today.
My strength is all up here in my head. I'm not physical things, not my.
It's a very top-heavy group.
Top-heavy group, yeah. Intellectuals, smart people.
Intellectual heavyweights.
Yeah.
All around the table.
Well, this has been such a busy week and a lot going on. I think this is a fantastic way to just kind of wrap and talk about some important things, but keep it high level and fun.
Yeah.
So thanks,
Thank
Frank,
you.
for joining us.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
The AV Super Friends are awesome. I love them.
Thanks, Frank.
I have heard your episodes. It's fun. And thank you.
You still came on? What are you doing?
Oh my God.
I'm a glutton for punishment.
Day 3 decision making.
Well, that wraps up another episode of AV Super Friends Perspectives. If you have a perspective to share, you can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV Super Friends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients.